Shalom family, we gonna circle back on this one. I know y'all probably thought I wasn't gonna do a breakdown on this event, being that a few weeks have now passed since the shooting that occurred on the subway in New York, but we're about to get into that right now.
Just before 8:24 this morning, as a Manhattan-bound N train waited to enter the 36th Street station, an individual on that train donned what appeared to be a gas mask. He then took a canister out of his bag and opened it. He then opened fire, striking multiple people on the subway, and in the platform.
Breaking video on social media showing the chaos following a mass shooting on a moving New York City subway train. The victims frantically running for their lives once that train stopped. And just moments ago, police say the U-Haul van, believed to be linked to the shooter, has been found, but he is still on the run. Here's what we know tonight. 10 people were shot, at least 6 others injured. The injury total has gone up over the last hour or so.
On April 12th, 2022, an individual donned a gas mask, detonated a smoke canister, and opened fire on a subway train in New York City. This event occurred on April 12th, 2022, which is 4 + 1 + 2 + 2 + 2 + 2 and equals 13, the number of rebellion. The shooting happened in the subway, which is underground, and points to the demonic spirits of the fallen angels in the bottomless pit. In fact, the shooter popped smoke grenades before the shooting began, which points to the smoke that rises up from the bottomless pit when it's opened. This can be found in Revelation 9:2, which declares, "And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit." Notice the explosives he used had the name Falcon Rising on it. We know that the falcon represents Horus, the sun god, and points to Obama, whose logo is the rising sun. You will remember Kanye West, who was depicted as a false messiah, connected himself with the falcon as well in his video for the song Power. The shooter, who was identified as Frank James, was wearing an orange construction vest, which lets you know that the architects who orchestrated this event were the builders, or Freemasons. It appears that they like to use the color orange in their satanic rituals, as it points to the sun god. Orange was used in the O.J. Simpson ritual, since O.J. was called the juice.
This is Potrero Hill where I grew up, and this is Tree Sweet. The orange juice I grew up on is rich in natural energy.
And was connected to the rider on the white horse through his high-speed chase in the white Bronco.
This is AC. I have OJ in the car.
Okay, where are you?
Please, I'm coming up the 5 freeway.
Okay.
Right now, we are okay, but you gotta tell the police to just back off. He's still alive, so he got a gun to his head. Gun to his head. Gun to his head.
We also saw it in the explosion that occurred across from the Orange Theory on 6th Avenue in the New York City neighborhood of Chelsea at 8:40 on September 19th, 2016.
Looking at the first video we have all seen coming to us from MSNBC of the explosion at 8:40 p.m. tonight. This video coming from across the street from where the explosion took place.
8:40 points to Obama's birthday. 8:4 in Chelsea is a reference to the beast that rises from the sea. 6th Avenue is a reference to the Viking, Sixth King, or Sixth God. September 19th is 919, which, when inverted, becomes 616, the number of the beast, as found in Papyrus 115. And 2016 is 216, the sum of 6 times 6 times 6. We also saw orange in the mass shooting in Orange, California by 44-year-old Aminadab Gonzalez, who was shot in the head, a reference to number 44, Obama, and the deadly head wound that the Antichrist will suffer and rise from. This particular shooting happened on 36th Street, which gives us 3 6s, or 666, the number of the beast. The train was the end train, which is a reference to the end times. In fact, the shooter called himself the Prophet of Doom and said that Doomsday is coming.
But I am the Prophet of Doom. That's my original name, the Prophet of Doom. Doomsday is actually about to be here.
The reference to Doom and Doomsday connects back to New York rapper MF Doom, who died on Halloween, October 31st, 2020, a high satanic holiday. However, oddly enough, his death was not announced until December 31st, 2020. If we count from December 31st, 2020, the announcement of MF Doom's death, to April 12th, 2022, the day the Prophet of Doom went on a shooting spree, we get 468 days. 468 days is equivalent to 1 year, 3 months, and 13 days, which gives us a double 13, or 1313. You will remember in the previous video, we spoke about the sacrifice of Alicia Renaga, whose name means the exalted king of the serpents, and whose nickname was Lala. I told you then that Lala was also 1313, since the letter L is the 12th letter and the letter A is the first letter. We discovered then that 1313 gives us the number 44, since 1 plus 3 equals 4, and points to Obama. Well, it doesn't end there. 468 days can also be expressed as 66 weeks and 6 days, which gives us the number 666. When we put all of this together, it points to number 44, Obama, as the exalted king of the serpents, the beast, 666. Not only that, but the man who stabbed Renaga, Anthony Gray's name, actually means for things to grow gloomy and dark, a reference to doom and gloom, which connects to the man accused of this shooting, since he called himself the Prophet of Doom.
But I am the Prophet of Doom. That's my original name, the Prophet of Doom. Doomsday is actually about to be here.
The location of this incident was Sunset Park, Brooklyn, which is a reference to the end times and things growing dark as well, since darkness comes once the sun is set. This is also a reference to the son of Set, or the son of the devil, who is the Antichrist.
Evil has many names, Mr. Martin. Take Set, for example, known to Egyptians as the god of death. In the Old Testament, Satan, Lucifer, the devil, quite so.
The name Brooklyn means broken land, and since New York is the Empire State and the Statue of Liberty, who is the goddess Columbia, the light bearer, is the symbol for America, this points to the coming destruction of the United States, which will usher in the global government of the New World Order, which will be composed of the 7 heads and 10 horns of the beast. This can be found in Revelation 13:1 and 17:12. They have been preparing the world for America's fall for quite some time now. We saw it before when Wendy Williams passed out. We also saw it when Miss Columbia had her crown taken. And most recently, we saw it in the sacrifice of Miss USA, who fell to her death. 10 people were shot during this event, and 13 suffered injuries. 13 is the number of rebellion, and 10 is the Roman numeral X, which represents death. Here's a picture of the alleged shooter wearing a t-shirt with a skull on it, symbolizing death. In Greek, the number 10 is he, spelled CHI, which points to the Chicago Bull and the horned god Satan and Barack Obama. Not only that, but 10 shot and 13 injured gives us the number 23, the same number worn by Chicago Bull Michael Jordan, whose name means who is like God, the fallen one, and who has 6 rings, which points to the Viking, 6 king, or 6 god.
Just before 8:24 this morning, as a Manhattan-bound N train waited to enter the 36th Street station, an individual on that train donned...
The shooting occurred just before 8:24 a.m. 8:24 is 8 2/4s, or 8:44, and points to John 8:44, the father of lies. Strong's Concordance lists number G 8:24 as a topos, meaning wicked, unrighteous, injurious, and harmful. This points to the demonic, unclean spirits which possessed Frank James to do such a wicked thing. The number 8:24 also connects this shooting with the sacrifice of Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba, who wore the numbers 8 and 24. We know that the Black Mamba is a poisonous serpent that is connected with death incarnate.
In Africa, the saying goes, in the bush, an elephant can kill you, a leopard can kill you, and a black mamba can kill you. But only with the mamba, and this has been true in Africa since the dawn of time, is death sure. Hence its handle, death incarnate.
Being bitten by the deadly serpent points to the coronavirus vaccine and being crowned with the venom of the serpent. We also know Obama connected himself with Kobe, the Black Mamba, by imitating his mic drop.
What can I say? Mamba out. Just have 2 more words to say. Obama out.
Frank James was taken into custody on Wednesday afternoon, April 13th. April 13th is 413, which gives us the number 44, since 1 + 3 = 4, and again points to number 44, Obama. The number 13 is also the number of rebellion and points to the rebellious fallen angels. The name Frank means free. The name James means supplanter or usurper, a person who seizes a position of power, usually that of a king, illegitimately, and takes the place of the rightful king. This points to the son of perdition, who will rise from the bottomless pit to enter into the Antichrist, or false Messiah, who will then attempt to take the place of the true Messiah.
Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth.
James was spotted by bystanders in the area of St. Mark's Place and 1st Avenue in the East Village, also called Alphabet City. Alphabet City is a reference to the Alphabet Boys, the NYPD, the FBI, the CIA, ATF, LAPD, and other law enforcement agencies that are all identified by their letters. This lets us know that they were involved in orchestrating this satanic ritual. As a side note, the shooter made a video about a YouTuber named Hassan Campbell claiming that he would be next, or that he would be taken out by gangs.
Mr. Manchurian Candidate, the shooter, made videos predicting that Hassan Campbell was going to be next. Now let me say this and make this real clear. Hassan Campbell has a lot of pain bottled up inside, but never enough to make me commit suicide and leave my children. So as far as him predicting, he predicted two things. If I don't take myself out first, that the gang members is going to take me out. He said I'm next, and the gang members is going to air me out.
Interestingly enough, recently, Hassan has released tapes exposing Pyru Blood gang member Wack 100, calling Rollin 60s gang member Nipsey Hussle a snitch, among other things. Wack is connected with 6ix9ine, who became an informant for the feds to bring down his blood set in New York, and was granted an early release from prison due to coronavirus. Not only that, but the LAPD announced that Roc Nation, along with Nipsey Hussle, had sent an email requesting a meeting with the chief of police, seeking to cooperate with the LAPD.
I went through my emails yesterday and I found the original email requesting from Nipsey and Roc Nation, requesting to me to set up a meeting with the chief, and I'm going to read it to you. This was dated February 26th. Our goal is to work with the department.
Supposedly, this letter was sent on February 26th, which gives us the number 226, and since B is the second letter, 226 is 666, the number of the beast. It is important to mention that Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez, who also cooperated with the feds, but in her case, she helped bring down a drug cartel and was rewarded with a pardon from Donald Trump. We also know that Trump pardoned rapper Kodak Black, who established a $100,000 scholarship for the victims at Stoneman Douglas, connecting him with that ritual sacrifice. And he also offered to pay for college for the 2 FBI agents that were killed in the city of Sunrise on 44th Street.
These FBI agents shot at while serving a warrant. The SWAT emergency sparking a massive scene in Sunrise. Dozens upon dozens of officers, first responders from a number of different agencies have descended on this particular neighborhood right off of Hiatus Road and Northwest 44th Street.
The number 44 points to Obama as well as the sunrise, since his logo is the rising sun. Like Nipsey Hussle, these agents' deaths were satanic ritual sacrifices as well, and their funerals were held in the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami the same weekend of the Super Bowl ritual, which was being held at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa. Let me remind you that Nipsey Hussle's alleged killer was represented by Christopher Darden, who was a prosecutor on the O.J. Simpson case.
This is AC. I have O.J. in the car.
Which points back to the rider on the white horse, the Antichrist. Also, Nipsey Hussle, who was portrayed as a Messiah figure, making him into a false Messiah.
You compare Nipsey to Jesus?
Yeah, why not?
Had an album called Victory Lap.
Man, we in Tulum at the Mayan ruins. Just climbed off the pyramid, got to the top, seen the whole jungle, shooting a Victory Lap video.
Which connected him with Obama's speech at Victory Column. So it's clear that there exists several connections between these satanic rituals, politicians, law enforcement agencies, federal, state, and local, news agencies, and the entertainment industry, especially that of actors and rappers. It's all encompassing in all of these different arms, which are actuated by the unclean spirits of the fallen angels, the principalities and powers, the wickedness and darkness in high places, working in concert to bring about the New World Order in their chosen leader, the Antichrist. But I digress. Before we took that left, I was saying that James was spotted on 8th Street and St. Mark's. 8th Street can be written as 4+4 or 44, a reference to Obama. The name Mark means consecrated to Mars, the god of war. It is important to note that the Prophet of Doom made references to the war in Ukraine on his YouTube channel.
You're gonna get some of that. When Putin gets to shooting, which hope he does, he will. And then you have the Chinese involved. They have hypersonic missiles that go 5 to 7 times sound.
It is also important to note that the East Village also has an area called Little Ukraine. This is significant, especially since the media is now threatening the inhabitants of the world with the possibility of World War III and the use of nuclear warheads, which would certainly spell doom and gloom for the entire world.
On Monday, Russia's foreign minister gave a dire warning that the possibility of World War III is a real threat.
And he talked about how the world should not underestimate the threat of nuclear war. So that's a very stark warning coming from a country like Russia that is so heavily armed with nuclear weapons.
James was captured after police said they received a tip that he was in McDonald's at 6th Street and 1st Avenue. It later came to light that the person who called the tip in was James himself. The name McDonald means son of the world ruler. We know Satan is the ruler or god of this world, according to 2 Corinthians 4:4, which declares, "In whom the god of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them." Remember, he was on 6th Street and 1st Avenue. 6th Street is a reference to the Viking, 6th king, or 6th god. 1st means chief, prince, or principal, as in principality. Avenue means to arrive or approach. Therefore, we're being told that the son of Satan, the son of perdition, the Viking, 6th king, or 6th god, the chief prince, is about to arrive. Investigators found a U-Haul key at the scene of the shooting and traced it to a van that they believe James rented in Philadelphia. They also said he had addresses in Philadelphia and Wisconsin. James's connection to Wisconsin points to the stag god Cernunnos and the opening of the portal or doorway to hell. Philadelphia connects him with liberty, rebellion, and revolution. Remember, Obama gave his speech from the American Revolution Museum in Philadelphia and mentioned 76 days, a reference to rebellion.
So tonight I want to talk as plainly as I can about the stakes in this election. Because what we do these next 76 days will echo through generations to come.
As it turns out, the shooter boarded the number 67 bus during his escape after the shooting.
When this B-67 bus pulls into the stop on 7th Avenue in Brooklyn, take a look at this new video exclusively obtained by News 4. This is April 12th at 9:10 a.m., just 40 minutes after the mass shooting in Sunset Park, what sources describe as a clear image of shooting suspect Frank James running to catch that bus.
67 is the same as 76 and points to the number 13, the number of rebellion. The time 9:10 points to Revelation 9:1 and the key that is given to the angel who opens the bottomless pit. The number 40 is 4-0, meaning this is all done for Obama. All of this information connects this shooting to the opening of the portal or doorway in the liberation or setting free of the king of the bottomless pit and the rebellious fallen angels that serve him. It is clear then from this event that they are telling us that we are living in the end times, and the time of darkness and gloom is what comes next. That being said, if you have not given your life to the Most High by accepting the blood sacrifice of the Paschal Lamb, Yahushua HaMashiach, which was shed on the cross as a propitiation for the redemption of sins, the time to do so is now. Amen. Shalom.